So I don't know if you have heard, but it snowed this year. This is one of the first days that it's not been incredibly dark and rainy in California. So I decided to film this video at the park. South Sierra officially has the highest snowpack on record, as in ever. I did a frequently asked question on my Instagram, and about 50% of the questions were regarding the snow and how I feel about the snow. So since everyone is so concerned, I can't imagine why, because I'm clearly so competent, I figured I would make a video about this very subject. So you might have watched my fears video where I talked about how seeing snow at all is something I don't want. Well, obviously that was filmed before I knew about the historic snow year. I don't want to say I'm responsible for this, but I might have jinxed it. When I first watched Dixie's documentary on her 2017 thru hike, which was also a historic snow year, I thought, okay, if I were to do this, the one thing I would not want is to do it in a high snow year. Again, I'm sorry, I might have jinxed it. It just looked like an extra dose of adventure in what already is a massive adventure. So if you are hiking the PCT this year, you might be involved in some Pacific Crest Trail Facebook groups or social media, and you are probably very aware that the fear is real. And honestly, probably for good reason. In 2017, several people actually lost their lives because of the engorged river crossings in the Sierra. So it's not something to take lightly. But I found that instead of people reaching within themselves and pulling out some grit, which is required for a thru hike, a lot of people were posting very panic-driven posts, and it was just a bombardment of negative, panic-driven posts, which of course is super discouraging. And obviously there is merit to talking about the actual facts, which is just the actual fact that the class of 23 is going to have to be extra cautious, maybe change our mindset around certain things, and be more flexible. And those are all things that I want to talk about in this video. But it was very much people just absolutely panicking, saying anyone who is hiking the PCT this year is insane. And of course, people were actually fighting in the comments, classic Facebook drama. I do think there is a difference between making that decision for yourself and just canceling everything out of fear. So if you decided to do any of the other options just because you felt that it was right for you, absolutely no hate. I think everyone has to make decisions for themselves and for what they want, because hiking the Pacific Crest Trail is about the person hiking it. And that's why Hike Your Own Hike is so important. I also remember Dixie saying that the fear-mongering was very intense in 2017. And recently, actually, Dixie posted a video about how to traverse the PCT in a high snow year. And some of the top comments were still saying that people should not hike the PCT this year. And they were talking about false optimism and hikers not taking it seriously, mentioning people that have died, even experienced ones, which again, that is clearly something to take into consideration. I decided I'm still going to do this trail this year. And this is just a part of what's getting thrown at me already. A thru hike will simply never be convenient or perfect timing. I would also like to acknowledge the fact that a thru hike is inherently dangerous, high snow year or not. Last year in 2022, it was a very dry year for California, and the threat then was fires. In fact, big fires closed down many sections of the PCT, including the northern terminus, so a lot of people couldn't even reach the northern terminus. People had to flip, they had to get rides around the fire closures, and they had to be flexible, like we have to this year. Now, admittedly, I have never done a thru hike, but it does seem that a big part of doing a thru hike is being flexible. Also, owning a Senchi Designs sweater, which I now have, so I'm officially a thru hiker. Joking. But it seems to me that a big part of doing a thru hike is being flexible and learning to go with the flow. But basically, my plan is to just roll with it and take it one step at a time. Now, let me be very clear. I am probably one of the most cautious people I know. If I feel at any point that it's too much for me, I will bail and I won't feel bad about it. The thing is, I just have to decide that for me personally. I would rather try and decide against it instead of not try at all. So there are a few things that I think I have to understand, and anyone who's hiking the Pacific Crest Trail this year needs to understand. Number one, it might not be the hike that I envision. I have to accept that now, and I have. Number two, I probably won't get to go through the Sierra. I'm still going to go up to the Sierra and see how it looks and decide that for myself, but I am accepting now that I will likely have to flip around it. So that being said, number three is that it will likely not be a continuous footpath, and that is okay. Number four, I have to be very willing to be flexible and change my plans. And number five, I might not get to hike all 2,650 miles of the trail. It is likely I will have to complete it in sections and maybe go back next year and try to complete the Sierra if I have to skip it. And that is okay. Being that I have a late May start, I really don't know at what point I will approach the Sierra. I feel like maybe late June or July. And of course, this being a historic snow year, we don't know what that will look like. But I do have a few rules for myself if I'm going to attempt going through the Sierra. Number one, I will have a tramily that I trust. I will not attempt to go through the Sierra by myself, and I want to go through it with people that consider everyone in the group and their risk tolerance. Number two, I will have an ice axe and crampons, and I will actually know how to use them. This might be obvious, but apparently a lot of people don't actually know how to use them. So I will be taking a class. Number three, I will have a plan to bail, and I will know where all my exit points are. Number four, I will not put myself in a situation where I feel I'm in real danger. If everyone's crossing a river at a point where I feel uncomfortable with, I will either turn around or I will go up or downstream and find a better place to cross, which also goes back into having a tramily that you trust. Number five, I will make sure that my Garmin inReach is charged and on my body at all times. I also acknowledge that the people that risk their lives to come rescue you are obviously put at risk. I think it's pretty obvious that nobody wants to press the SOS button. Really, I want the Garmin just for my own peace of mind and for communication with my family. I also have an emergency plan with my family, so they know what to do in case they haven't heard from me in like 3 days. And number six, I will not worry about my pack weight or making high miles in the Sierra. I plan on bringing quite a bit of extra food and warmer clothes, and you have to carry a bear box in the Sierra, so weight kind of goes out the window. I am also doing as much research as I can now. There are quite a few good videos on YouTube about camping in the snow, and there's even like a full series on going through the Sierra in a high snow year. I'm honestly less worried about the snow and more worried about the river crossing, since I will likely be going through the Sierra when the snow starts to melt. That's going to cause the rivers to be fuller and more dangerous. Now, obviously, I cannot predict the future. I don't actually know how I will feel once I get out there, but I plan on taking it one day at a time and being kind to myself in the process. If I feel that this year is too much for me and my skill set and my comfort level, I will not hike this year, but I do want to get out there and try it. And if I don't hike it this year, then I know I will hike it another year, and that's perfectly fine. I will also stop hiking if I'm just miserable and not enjoying the experience. And that is also okay. I know whatever I do, I will be true to myself. But I am trying to have a mindset that this is like a huge adventure novel, even though it's not a novel, it's real life. But this factor of the huge snow year is just another antagonist to the story, and it's yet to be known whether I will make it through the Sierra or how far I will make it. Either way, the adventure will be epic, and I'm really looking forward to digging deep and seeing what I'm made of. So if you want to follow along and see how far I actually make it, please subscribe to this channel to watch the adventure. Thank you for liking my videos and subscribing. Not only does it really help the channel, but I'm a very private person, and any likes or new subscribers really makes it to where I want to keep doing this. And it makes me want to continue putting myself out there and taking risks. And just like that, the sun comes out. I think that's a good sign. Bye.